I was raised a Christian. And although my parents themselves indicated weren't terribly religious, when I was a child and taken to church and Sunday school, I was told this was, the ultimate truth and what's important in life about metaphysics and morality. So I paid attention. And being a serious kind of nerdy kid, I really got into it. And I think it kind of disturbed my parents, who were less religious, how into it I got. And so there was a phase in my childhood, preteens, where I was really intensely into Christianity and read about it and read the Bible all the way through and very carefully and talked about it with clergymen and so forth when I was even that age. And so that was a demon I think I may have needed to exercise in me, because even when I became an objectivist, certain aspects of its morality, the morality of altruism, I think stuck in my psychology and were, ingrained in me in a value sense, and I wanted to purge that out of me. Mm-hmm. And as I became an atheist, and as Ayn Rand and other atheist philosophers began to steer me straight, and as I began to read critics of Christianity, critical scholars, and Friedrich Nietzsche, for example, whose philosophy I mostly disagree with, by the way, from his epistemology through his ethics, through his politics. Nonetheless, he's a very articulate critic of Christianity, and both his attack on Christianity and Ayn Rand's critique of altruism, I think, made it possible for me to even have the insight that I had. Reading the New Testament, it struck me, a little light bulb went on, and it occurred to me that this sounds like Roman propaganda written to pacify the militant nationalist Jewish population of the Roman Empire 2,000 years ago, a population that was in active, religious, militant revolt against Rome. And Rome, being experts at propaganda, might have produced such a thing. It advocates peace, it advocates paying your taxes, it tells slaves to obey their masters, it makes rebellion a sin and says that the government, the Roman government, are God's appointed agents on earth. Now that struck me as a very curious message in the first century, or even the second century, when there were very famous and cataclysmic wars between nationalist Jews in the Roman Empire that were religiously based and motivated, but that were so cataclysmic, they reduced the temple to the Wailing Wall it is today in Jerusalem, and finally expelled the Jews from Judea. I think morality is important. It's a critical need for human beings. And frankly, secular philosophers have not done an adequate job, at least until Ayn Rand, in my view, have not done anything like an adequate job of providing a reality-based, earth-grounded morality that should matter to us as human beings, as biological entities here on Earth. Ayn Rand's discovery that ethics basically serves a biological function for human beings was a critical insight, and that is, of course, the most important breakthrough. But on the other hand, I think it's important because Christianity does govern the actual lives of so many people today. Throughout the world, it's still the number one religion. And even left-wing politicians who call themselves secular themselves are still bound by the ethics and the politics that is found in the New Testament. You'll find, for example, in Catholicism, your own religion, liberation theology, which basically keeps the morality, but sort of transfers the metaphysical pretenses to something else, but still calls itself a form of Catholicism, for example. And in the United States, you see left-wing politicians sort of taking the moral high ground from religious conservatives, no less, saying they're more Christian in their compassion for the poor or in their pacifistic foreign policy, and that Republicans are hypocrites. And so the actual morality of Christianity is still with us, whether it's on the religious right or the more secular left. And so I think it's important not only to provide the foundation that Ayn Rand did, that's obviously the most important thing to do, but also to strip away the mask of alleged moral idealism from Christianity and reveal it for what it was back in its origin, and so people could see what it was rather than this otherworldly idealism which everyone still takes it to be.